Hey guys, it's your boy, Brad here, bringing you another awesome video! Hey guys, it's your boy, Brad here, bringing another awesome Yu-Gi-Oh! Go format video. This time we're bringing you a deck on Amazonas. This is our take on it, of course. And, so I believe this is a deck that My Valentine played in the anime/manga. And it was released in Magician's Force, like the 5th set, 6th set, something like that, of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it relies on these cards, the Amazonas monsters, woman monsters, that kind of that try to synergize with one another, right? So Chain Master gets destroyed, lets you look at the hand, and then biggest thing is this one gains attack for each Amazonas you control. And then they have neat little battle tricks like this one, where you wouldn't take any battle damage from it, or battle effects, I suppose you call it. And you got your man Amazonas Tiger, like a paladin, almost better in a way. He's got lower life points. You can only control one of it at the same time. So it's is it really better? I don't know. And you can only attack this monster. Your opponent can only attack this monster. It's it's not the worst, right? And you got a little bit of support, like your Amazonas Arches, right here, which is just a battle trick, very anime card if I've ever seen it. So this card reads: when an opponent monster declares an attack while you control Amazonas monsters, change all monsters your opponent currently controls face up attack position. Flip effects are not activated, and they lose 500 attack, and they must attack this turn to Fable, right? So they have Scapegoat set. Then they got to attack into your monsters, and everything else will lose 500 life points. And unless they got a boss monster on the field, it's got a level 4 monster, they're probably going to be lower than your Amazonas monsters. So this does resolve, you'll get a ton of damage in, for example, right? But I don't like cards like this that are very specific to a very specific situation. Yes, you're playing a lot of Amazonas. Yes, you got the Rhodas in there. So that's why I'm only playing one of it in the main deck. As you see, we got 2 in the side there. We'll talk about that why later. But yeah, so we only got 1 of these in the main deck because I'm not a huge fan of this card personally. It can come in a niche situation. Since we have so many Amazonas cards in this deck, we got, 10 of them? Right, so you got 10 of them, and you have the 2 Rhoda searching them out. So it's probably going to resolve, right? So the big thing with this is a big battle aggro deck, I suppose you would say, right? And it's Earth, so that's why we're also running the Gigantus and the Giant Rat, because Gigantus, as you know, when he's in when there's a great Earth monster in the graveyard, you banish it, special summon him. Sweet. All right, and you also got the Giant Rat, which will search out the majority of your Amazonas monsters, except for Paladin, which is fine. Right, you can float into all of them except for Paladin. You can also float into Exile Force if the situation arises that you can do that. Or the best one of all is Lily, in Rejection Fairy Lily. Right, it's kind of sick to be able to search into that. So you do a little bit of Earth, synergy with this deck, with the the Amazon, since they're all Earth, right? So that's where we're running all these different those Earth monsters, let's just say, right? And yeah, so pretty sick deck. And then we got a little bit of tech in here, as you might see. You might have noticed we got the DD Designator. So we're playing the one DD Designator because of the Amazonas Chain Master. Just say, for example, right? Because this card, when it's destroyed, and by balance into the graveyard, you can pay 1,500, look at your opponent's hand, and add 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard. Or from their hand to your hand, right? So it's kind of cool. It's not the best effect in the world, but with Designator, you would have hand knowledge. So 1, you'll get a card off this, and if you have Designator at the same time, you can activate your Designator, call out the next monster, and then banish it if it's a troublesome monster. So if it's a BLS and you can't use it, because obviously we're not going to be able to use it. We don't have any. I mean, we might be able to use it, but it's going to be very rare because only light is Lady, only dark is Breaker, as well as Sangan. So there's 2 dark, but the chances of them both being in the graveyard is very low, right? So that's where we're not running the BLS in this deck. So for example, that might happen. You might just banish BLS, and if BLS is banished from hand, then he's just out of the game, right? So we got a little bit of that tech in there. But anyways, we're going to do the card by card here, guys. So we got the 1 Amazonas Archer. This card right here is usually used for an anti-burn strategy. It says when you contribute 2 monsters, which includes itself, inflict 1,200 damage, right? So if the situation arises that this comes up, it's better than Cannon Soldier, but for the most part, I like Cannon Soldier more. But this card works with this deck, obviously. And, you never know. You might just need that 1,200 damage because it is an aggro deck to just finish the game, right? So we have it. We also got the Amazonas Chain Master, as I said before, running 2 of them. I was running 3, but I needed to fit in the Lily somewhere. I just couldn't go without it if Rat was in the deck. So it's I had to cut this card down to 2, unfortunately. I prefer to run 3 with the Designator because it'd be more likely that you'd have both of them together. But this is probably the worst Amazonas that we are running, so that's why I'm only running it at 2. And then we got the 1 Paladin, free Paladin, sorry, which gains 100 attack for each Amazonas that you control. which isn't the worst. I think it includes itself. It doesn't say, doesn't usually it would clarify if it doesn't include itself, but I believe it does include itself. So like it's not bad. It can be, it can be okay. You get a little bit of damage in there if you got like 3 Amazonists. What, you got 2 other Amazonists, you got that 2K, right? Not the worst, right? Then you got the Amazoness Swordswoman, which I think is the best Amazonist, which reads your opponent would take any battle damage you would have taken from battling spelling this card instead. So in other words, your opponent attacks them with VLS, they take 1500 damage instead of you taking 1500 damage. So, like, I don't know, not selling like for this deck. Yeah, it's probably the best. But as like a warrior, Earth warrior monster, you can do better. But you know what? It can come in situational. It can be situational. It can be annoying for your opponent to deal with if you're playing this with a little bit of burn cards, which Amazoness could work really well with. So we got some burn cards inside there, right? Or it's like late game and you just need a couple more damage, little bit more damage, and all they have is bigger monsters, right? So it can be okay. That's why I run 3 of it. It can be situational. It can be okay, right? Then we got the one Amazoness Tiger, and says you can only control one Amazoness Tiger. So that's why I only run 1 of it myself, and it's a beast, so it's not searchable. So maybe I should play 2 of it. I don't really know. I'd prefer this at 1 myself, to be honest. So it gains 400 attack for each Amazoness monster you control, and you cannot target Amazoness monsters except for this for battle, right? So it can get pretty huge if you got 5 Amazoness on the field. Gain 2,000, go up 3,100, which is insane. But that's getting 5 monsters on the field in gold format. Keep in mind. So yeah, not going to happen very likely, but you never know. And I don't know if it includes itself or not. I feel like it does because it is an Amazoness, but I had to look into that. And if it does include itself, then it's a 1,500 no matter what, right? And that's pretty good. And just having that 400, if you have, so if it does include itself, you get 2. He goes up to 1,900. That's not the worst. And the fact that they only attack him, that's all right. But I only like running it at 1, like I said, because I don't like the effect very much. The second effect is not worth. It's just not worth it for the second effect. The first effect's pretty good, but the fact you only control 1 of these is like, come on now, right? It's not that good. But anyways, with the 1 breaker in there because you need them. Your 1 warrior lady because it's a warrior, and you can search it off Rhoda. You got your Exile Force, same thing. Warrior can search it off Rhoda. Earth as well to go with the rest of the deck. So we got the Giant Rat, which can also search out your Exile Force, I was mentioned before. Then the 2 Gigantus, as I said before, because most of this deck is Earth, so he's probably going to be live all the time. So that's why we're playing 2 of this bad boy. And we got the 1 Injection Fairy Lily, which works really well with the Giant Rat. And yeah, right. So it's, in my opinion, the best card for Giant Rat, best floating target, whatever you want to call it, right? So pretty cool. And we got the 1 Sangan, of course. Searches out almost every Amazoness except for Paladin, so that's pretty good. And then we also got the Amazoness Spellcaster. I only run 1 of this because this card is also very situational. It's too situational for me. So it switches the attack between your Amazoness and one monster your opponent controls, and that's assuming that they're playing a monster that's bigger than yours. So it's a way to out PLS or Chaos or like Chaos Orc, or something huge that like a Reasoning Gate deck can get out, for example. That's why I only run 1 of it because I think it's too situational myself. Yeah, it can be really good if the situation arises and you need to just clear the stupid thing out of your way, right? But it only works to the end of the turn, right? So like if you're playing against a Reasoning Gate deck and they have a bunch of monsters in the field, well, you're fucked. You only get rid of 1 of them, for example, right? That are huge. If there's a bunch of huge monsters, you only get rid of 1 of them, right? And that kind of sucks. And now it does say original attack, which is good for like the Paladin and that. But yeah, so I only run 1 of this because I just don't think it's good enough to run at more than 1. But if the situation arises, it can be good against, like I said, against Chaos monsters. Could be good against Reasoning Gate, whatever might summon out a huge monster. Maybe even Warriors, just to get over the Warriors. I think most Warriors have a low defense, right? So, I don't know. Then we got the 1 DD Designator to go with our Amazoness Chain Master. And like I said, I just like to run it because of that. It's also pretty good against the Ritual decks because you know what cards they're going to have in hand. So, like, it can be okay. Obviously, the duel. We got 1 True Nade because we have a lot of traps in here. And we just want to hit in at the end of the day. So that's why we run 1 of it. Obviously, the Rarity, obviously Heavy Storm, the Space Typhoon, of course, 2 Knock, obviously, 1 Pot of Greed, of course, because Premature Burial, 2 Reinforcements of the Army, obviously, and your Snatch Steal, of course, and like I said, the Amazoness Archeress, not the biggest fan of this card, but it does all right. Call the Haunted because you want as many Amazoness in the field, aggro deck, whatever else, right? Again, that's why we're running the True Nade because if you do set this, but you need to clear your opponent's back row, well, you can just get rid of this, no biggie. What are you going to do, right? So the 1 Magic Cylinder, I think this is better than this stupid card, to be quite honest, just because it negates the attack, and plus it does guarantee damage to them versus, well, maybe it'll do damage, maybe it won't, right? For this stupid card. So, yeah. I got the one ring, obviously, the one Sakuretsu armor, just to protect your monsters. The one Solemn Judgment, if you're in a really good position. I know some decks try to run 3 of this. I was trying to fit 3 in here. I just couldn't do it. Maybe there's some cards like, I'm going to get rid of Sakuretsu armor, put another one in. But I don't know. I think Sakuretsu's armor is important for this deck because this deck sucks. And then, obviously, the biggest thing is the Ultimate Offering here. Because, you know, this deck benefits from having multiple Amazoness cards on the field with Paladin and Tiger, for example, right? And as well as Archer. So, like, you know, you can, and as you see in the games, it does come up. It can be pretty crazy. And not only that, I just like to have it because it's just a good card. It's like, it's a weird card, though, because like, I said this to other people, but, like, it's the same with every trap card, where if it doesn't resolve, it's garbage, right? But this card is especially true of that, because you need to keep it alive long enough for it to resolve, and for you not to get punished for it resolving. For example, if your opponent has Giant Trunade, not Giant Trunade, Torrential Tribute, or something like that, just stop it, or do they just MST it as soon as they activate it, right? Because there's just so many ways that this card can be stopped because of the fact it's a continuous trap card that you need to pay cost for. And I guess it happens as soon as it's activated. It's just my problem is, like, again, it just needs to resolve for it to be good. And yeah, but like at the same time, if you can get that exact situation, this card basically wins you the game. So, like, and especially for a deck like this that just benefits from having as many monsters on the field as possible. And in Goat, that's really hard to do. Just spam out monsters unless you're playing like Rescue Cat, right? So this is like one of the better ways to spam out monsters. That's also why we got the Trunade in here, because you go with the Premature Burial to get a second use out of it. In that niche situation, it might happen. But again, if it does happen, you know, you power up your Amazoness. Every single one of them benefit from that, except for Chainmaster. So, like, yeah, you know, I like it for that reason alone. And yeah, so that's the main deck there, though, guys. It's not. I play, as you see in the replays, it's not too bad. I think it's pretty good. I think that, but I do think it can use a little bit of work myself. I actually think that Cold Wave here, for example, in the side deck can go into the main deck somewhere. But as it is right now, it's a pretty fun deck still, regardless. And we'll go over the side deck too. We got the one Cypher Soldier, of course. At the end of the day, we're just trying to deal damage, and warriors can be annoying sometimes. So it's a good way to deal damage. The true Kuriboh, just because I didn't put a Mystic Swordsman level 2 in here for some reason, which I will do right now, because we actually would prefer to have that over 2 Kuriboh, to be quite honest. Swordsman. Oops, daisies, there he is. We need this in here, actually, over True Kuriboh. There we go. So yeah, well, and we got the one Kuriboh, the 2 Kaiku for the Chaos monsters, and some other things can be good again. It's mostly just Chaos, let's be honest. Mystic Swordsman level 2, obviously, like I said, just put her in here because we need him in here. He can be good for getting rid of spies and that when you're out of Nox, for example. The one Zambara, because he's also good against warriors. And the 2 Cold Wave, which might be a main deck card, but I like Cold Wave for, like, Reasoning Gate for ritual decks. Shuts them off completely. They can't do anything, right? So they're just sitting there like an idiot with their Manju and 10,000 cards in hand. They can't do anything. Same with Reasoning Gate. They just can't do anything. 2 Mystic Walk for the burn. I put Amazoness Arches in the side deck for goat control, actually. Because if they have scapegoats on the field, for example, right? Amazoness Arches is insane if it resolves, because all their scapegoats got attack into your Amazoness. So you'll just get a ton of damage in, right? So if you have 1, you'll get 15 times 4, 3,000, 6,000 damage, right? It's insane. And it's a very niche situation, I admit, but if it happens, holy shit. And then the 3 Secret Barrel as well. Secret Barrel just because, like, I think it's a good side card, just because, especially, it depends on the deck, of course. I think this deck benefits from having it as a side card because you're just dealing damage so often. And then you can just kind of win the game out of nowhere, and people don't. And I like putting it in the side because then people won't expect it. They won't side for Secret Barrel, which can be kind of crazy. And that's, like I said before, with the tech thing, right? Where I think Secret Barrel can be kind of insane, but that's just me. I'm not entirely sure. I think it might be good, might not be. Who knows? But anyways, so that's the deck there, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deck, be sure to leave a like and a comment. And if you think it needs to be better, let me know. And yeah, so that's the video there, guys. Anyways, I'm signing out. Brud, signing out.